Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Okay, but why did you vote him in? What was your reasoning for voting him in? If you want me to be quiet, shut me up and give me facts. Give me articles. Show me that Donald Trump's not going to ruin our country. Because it's only been, what, November, December, January, February, March? 5 months? 5 months since he's been in office. And things are going to shit.
They also have a tendency to blame the Biden administration. Yeah. It's like, move on. That ship has sailed. I never remember in my lifetime a sitting president trashing a previous president. I've never heard that before. You never heard, Ronald Reagan didn't do it. They're St. Ronald.
But it's the common enemy. It's what drives their base together is the other. Yeah. So they do that to create.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. Sometimes when scrolling through Facebook, yes, it's because I'm old enough to still be scrolling through Facebook. I am. I remember when only the young people are on Facebook. Now only the old people are. But that's okay. I ran across this video from the Daily Signal by Victor Davis Hanson. I want to give credit for where credit is due. But but the video makes so much sense, and it encapsulates what we see from the left, what we see from the Democrat Party, and because the narrative is that they're adrift, man. They don't know what they're doing, and Republicans could just smooth in office, ride the Trump train, which is not true, by the way, and we're going to do a video on that sometime next week for sure. But Democrats are not set adrift. They have an agenda and they have a plan, and it's a very organized plan. And a lot of them are sticking to it. A lot of times we don't see it because it is chaotic. All right. One of the first things, we're just going to go down the list of things and talk about them a little bit. The first thing is Trump is evil, no matter what.
Yeah, maybe we were all right. Maybe we weren't all fear-mongering, right? Only 67, 68 days that this buffoon's been in our office. You know, I was called crazy for saying take advantage of your right to vote because your access to voting is going to look way different if we even have an election in 4 years. You know what's crazier than calling me crazy for saying such a thing? The fact that the president just came across my news station signing an executive order to change our voting process. Yeah, call me crazy?
No matter what. I saw a video the other day that said, the Trump said if he cured cancer, the headlines would read that Trump puts hundreds of thousands of healthcare workers out of work. If he cured cancer tomorrow, that would be the headline, right? No matter what he does, he's evil. He's a fascist. Chris Matthews said that he should be looked at as a Mussolini figure. Really? But yes, this is their plan. This is their plan. Because if you have the bully pulpit, and you can just keep saying it and just keep saying it and just keep saying it and just keep saying it, people will believe it. It will get in. It will get through their thick skulls, and they'll hear it in their ear, and they'll hear it in their ear until it becomes true to them, or some of them for sure.
Dear Trump supporters, you know you're just a bunch of racists. Come out and admit it. Just admit it. Okay? Grow a pair and admit it. All right? So sick and tired of you guys hiding behind this idea of, oh, Trump's not going to get rid of any legislation that protects minorities. Yes, he is. And you support that because you're a racist. That's it.
Now, and by association, so is Elon Musk. We're not going to talk about that Tesla saved the concept of the electric vehicle, battery operated vehicle. I still call it. I don't think the Tesla is the solution by any stretch of the imagination. So please, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not. But the idea is that he saved that concept with Tesla and that ugly ass Cybertruck. It's hideous. And we own an Aztec. So when I say the Cybertruck is ugly, that's where I'm coming from. So, and forget that his rocket company, SpaceX, just went up and rescued astronauts from the International Space Station when Boeing couldn't do it. Forget all that. Oh, forget that providing internet service for free for the victims of the hurricanes in North Carolina. Oh, and Ukraine and other places around the world. Yeah, we don't talk about any of that. He's evil and terrible and awful, and he needs to be sent back to South Africa, to his racist apartheid country. That's what we're going to talk. That's how we're going to speak about Elon Musk. This is organized. This is, and you see more and more of the faithful buying in, right? You see more and more of the faithful buying in. All right, ICE. Now, I am drinking my my Watermelon. Funny. And it's cold out of the new refrigerator without ice. Some people would get a glass, fill it with ice, and then pour their drink in. I personally don't want to do that. I'm not a fan. I think ice, eventually, when it melts, because that's what ice does, waters down my drink, and I don't like it. Know that. So, like the left, ice is wrong.
Video shows the moment Thursday morning. Eduardo Nunez Gonzalez was taking out the trash. You see a man slowly walk, then run to approach him, detaining him just steps from his front door. Both Eduardo and Vilma are Cuban nationals with Spanish citizenship. Vilma is an American citizen, but Eduardo is not. He spent more than 7 years renewing work permits, trying to gain his own citizenship, but lost paperwork and delays have dragged out the process. And he has spent the last 5 days in Chrome Detention Center, and according to Vilma, without food, water, or a bed.
Hay gente enferma. Él me decía que había gente. Perdón. Y él no tiene ningún delito, ni allá ni aquí. Lo único que ha hecho un día fue como todo excederse la velocidad de su carro y le pusieron un ticket y lo pagaron. Es lo único que tiene.
NBC6 looked into Eduardo's history and confirmed what Vilma said. Traffic citations are all Eduardo has.
Lo metieron contra el latón de la basura allá afuera, sin leerle los derechos, sin darle un documento. Yo soy la esposa, a mí no me pudieron dar una explicación.
ICE is bad. ICE deporting people, even if they're criminals, even if they've committed another crime. Now, crossing the border illegally is a crime. It isn't something that you can get away with in any other nation on the planet. But we're not talking about that. You can't go live anywhere. Venezuela, Chile, Argentina, France, England, Scotland, Australia, China, Burma, Vietnam, North Vietnam, Japan, especially Japan. You can't get away with just saying, I'm just going to move there. I'm good. You're not. It's illegal. They will find you, put you in jail, and if you're lucky, they will transport your butt back to your home country. If you're lucky. But ICE is bad. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that what people are doing is illegal. And we're not talking about 12 million people in the past 4 years, at least. And it's probably more than that have entered the country that have really put a hurting on communities around the country and their social resources and their financial resources. We're not talking about that. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to discuss it. We're not going to apologize for it. We're not. ICE is bad. People ought to be able to come here if they want to and stay, and we should pay for them, and we should give them health care, and we should give them green dot cards with money on it, and put them up in 5-star hotels in New York. Yes, that's what we ought to do. And this is part of the plan. ICE is wrong. And these people are sticking to it. They are sticking to it. The only thing where there may be some division is the Palestinians or Hamas over Israel. Democrats believe, and this is verifiable, that Israel is the aggressor here. Now, all you have to do is get a map to find out how small Israel is compared to the rest of the Arab world. And Israel is the aggressor. Not sure how they make that work, but 65 to 75% of Democrats believe that Israel is the aggressor. And the people who, last year dove into a music festival and killed 1,500 people and took people hostage, not the aggressor. Interesting. But this is, and they all glom on, and they all believe it, and they all move it forward. They all just keep saying it. They keep throwing it at you, right? All right. Democrats don't believe that there should be any cuts in the federal government. None. Zero. Everything is just fine. No cuts, no layoffs, no adjustments. $36 trillion. That is just fine. Things are working just great. Well, until this Trump dude and his evil assistant, Elon Musk, started roaming around the White House and roaming around Washington, D.C. Everything was just fine. And they're buying into that. That's their plan. Support Ukraine regardless. Even if it kills every single Ukrainian, destroy Vladimir Putin and Russia, no matter how much blood is spilled. Continue to give them arms, continue to give them money, continue, regardless. It's funny, when we start talking about, when he's talking about this, he's talking about Democrats, but he's not just here. We're not just talking about Democrats. We're talking about leftists. We're talking about I hate this term, establishment Republicans, rhinos. I hate that term even worse. Who are just going along with this narrative that we are to help. Without even thinking about it, without expecting anything in return, continuing to support Ukraine, even if Ukrainians are dying. We just keep forcing them to the front. There's a line in Us and Them from Pink Floyd. The line is, "Forward he cried, from the rear, and the front rank died." Generals sat while lines on the map moved from side to side. So we're in the back going forward, while people in the front, people thousands of miles away on the front rank are actually dying. And Democrats and leftists believe that we should continue that we should continue supporting basically the death of millions of people. And they do that because they don't know any of these people. It's academic to them. It's not real life. People aren't being sent. These young Ukrainian men aren't being sent back to New York or Chicago or Washington, D.C. or Los Angeles or Miami in body bags by the tens of thousands. They're not. So forward he cried, from the rear, and the front rank died. DEI is repackaged affirmative action. We know that. And none of it should have ever been removed. Ever. To just suggest to suggest that a meritocracy or a system of merit is better, safer, more efficient is racist. And just keep saying it. And just keep saying it. Because people will buy in. Like there is a story about somebody working for the FAA that was leaking test answers to candidates who were applying for air traffic controller jobs. Forgetting, I did a video on this, that I think the system set up as it is rigorous. So no matter what your skin tone, no matter what set of you happen to be sporting, if you can learn the material, you're going to be really good at your job. You're going to be efficient. You're going to be safe. You're going to save lives. You're going to keep people safe. All this, if you just learn the material in the way that is presented. No matter what your skin tone is, no matter what your sexual identity is. Yes, I'm making fun of you. Yeah. No matter what, genitalia you happen to be sporting. If you can learn that material, you're going to be just fine. You don't need DEI, you don't need affirmative action, you really don't. Anyway, we're almost done. And the idea is to be more radical.
Not only do I find it hilarious that she called him Governor Hot Wheels, I hope that he gets a flat tire.
You know what would really piss them off is if next election we can get Pete and Kamala Buttigieg or whatever on the ticket together. If we can get our shit together, that would be amazing. So let's work on it.
Hey, Congresswoman, do you regret your earlier comments you made about Governor Greg Abbott?
They also have a tendency to blame the Biden administration. Yeah. It's like, move on. That ship has sailed. I never remember in my lifetime a sitting president trashing a previous president. I've never heard that before. You never heard, Ronald Reagan didn't do it. They're St. Ronald.
But it's the common enemy. It's what drives their base together is the other. Yeah. So they do that to create. Yeah.
Be more radical. That's what they're doing. We saw a little bit of it at the State of the Union address. There's Al Green, not the good Al Green, the other Al Green holding his cane. Sit down. Get out. You see the ping pong paddles. That's a hard phrase to say. Ping pong paddles. And then you have people like Jasmine Crockett out there. I have so many feelings about that. The video that I did recently on Jasmine Crockett and her outrageous claims is my 7th highest ranked video in the history of this channel. Not because y'all tuned in and agreed with me. That ain't it. When the J Hive saw that there was somebody who looked like me out there talking bad about their girl, yeah, they came at me. And that's fine, whatever it is. But because that's what they do. Because what they want me to do is be quiet about it. Because the more outrageous they are, the more they think that things are good. And you'll see this happening. And to a certain degree, Trump does it too. Got to be upfront. I mean, there was a lot more profanity, a lot more f-bombs. People saying all sorts of all sorts of cursing and profanity. And the idea about this, you wonder, why is this happening? Because their idea is that they need to be more earthy, more down with people, more earthy. Well, this is how people talk. And we need to talk like them. We're not here to lift people up. They're not. They're actually here to keep people down. So if I can dumb down my speech to make me more relatable, then maybe I can control it. That's why you see the ratchetness of Jasmine Crockett. Hell, that's why you see the ratchetness of Marjorie Taylor Greene too. It's got to be upfront with you. So they have a plan. Democrats have a plan. Now it's a plan of slow decline, and they don't know why. They can't understand. Can't seem to understand why anybody would stop their slow, pleasant, easy decline. And it is the analogy of the boiling frog, right? You put the frog in the water, and they're comfortable, and you heat it up just a degree at a time, to where the frog never gets uncomfortable. And then before the frog knows that he's on the plate, or at least his legs are, that's the direction that the nation is heading, and was heading, and still is. Now, what's happened now is that of some of the most unlikely sources that Trump and Musk and Hegseth and Gabbard and Pam Bondi and Marco Rubio, Florida's in the House, are violently pulling the frog out of the pot. And the frog doesn't want to get out of the pot because the frog is comfortable. And now you pull this frog out of this water, it's cold and it's shocking. So even the frog is fighting you. Leave me alone. I'm uncomfortable. Why are you doing this to me? Trying to save your life. All right. Well, being an older person, you ever be around your grandparents or your older relatives, and they all have stories. Uncle Willie always has a story. Speaking of that, in 2014, I was in the hospital. I had triple bypass surgery. I'm much better, thank you. And they had a tube. No, I hadn't had the surgery yet. They had the tube because when I went in, I had to get intubated. I was put on a ventilator. I was in pretty bad shape. And I remember that at the end of the week, I was doing much better. I was breathing on my own, and they needed to take the tube out. When they I was better, and they needed to take the tube out. And I remember the nurse coming in, and she said, "Mr. Lawson, you're doing much better. We're going to take the tube out." Now, I had just woken up because I had been in a little bit of a coma for the past day and a half. So they started to take the tube out. And I remember freaking out, arms wailing, and I was kicking. I had a big tube. I couldn't scream or curse because I had this big tube in my gullet, right? But I fought them, and there was sweat, and it was cardio, boy. My blood pressure soared. And then the nurses I told the whole team, there was like 4 or 5 people there. No, calm down. Just leave them alone for a while. But these people had come to help me. But I had become so comfortable in my weakened condition that I fought them. And a lot of the nation is in the very same place. We have become so comfortable in our weakened condition. When somebody shows up and says, "Hey, listen, it's time to get better. You can be better. You can be stronger." Sometimes we fight them. How it worked out is that later I think they gave me some happy juice in my pick line, and then the nurse came back and she said to me, I love it because she was honest. She said, "Mr. Lawson, I'm coming to take the tube out. You're doing much better, obviously, and it's going to be awful." She said, "It's going to be terrible, but I'm really good at it." She said, "Are you ready?" And then I had, okay. And she pulled this tube out of my nose, and it just kept coming. It must have been like 55 miles long, and it just kept coming, and it just kept coming, and it was awful and it was terrible. And then suddenly it was over, and I could breathe, and I could talk. I had not been able to talk for 2 days. I had not been able to breathe on my own for 2 days. I was better. Now I still had to have surgery, but I was better. I was in a better state. I was stronger than I was. I was stronger than I was just a few minutes before. This is the lesson that we have to learn here. This transition is going to be hard. This transition is going to be tough. It's going to be chaotic. But on the other side of that, we're going to be bigger, better, stronger, more able to help people, actually, than we are now. My name is Willie Lawson. Thank you for coming to the Morning Report. Until we see you again, go out there and learn from them, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.